A record hidden among the war scrolls of eternal peace notes this: the capital's walls rose higher not from ambition, but from fear. After a half-god's violent assault, runes were carved in blood, and even the most confident divine arts practitioners worked with unease lingering in their hands. In Recales of Herding Gods. Chapter 7 and 97, Chapter 7 and 98, Qin Mu returns to this strained capital, not as a savior, but as a man carrying questions that border on the absurd and the profound. While the empire fractures under pressure from all directions, he seeks an answer that could reshape the future of cultivation itself, through something as fragile as new life. Yet beneath the humor of his inquiry lies a far heavier truth: a blessing from Mother Earth that may become a chain, and a desperate race to unlock the mysterious seventh divine treasure before the world collapses entirely. As alliances strain, secrets surface, and even laughter feels out of place in a crumbling empire, one cannot help but wonder, will Qin Mu's bold path bring salvation or hasten the fall of everything he seeks to protect? The imperial capital loomed before their eyes like a crouching dragon, vast and imposing. Around its perimeter, countless practitioners of divine arts moved like tireless ants, their sleeves fluttering as they channeled chi and skill to rebuild and extend the city walls. The walls rose ever higher, thick as mountains, and along their surface, streams of beast blood were used to inscribe defensive runes, each stroke glowing faintly with protective intent. Qin Mu descended to the foot of the city and inquired among them. The one overseeing the reconstruction was a disciple of Heavenly Works Hall. Bowing slightly, he explained, "Not long ago, a half-god assumed the form of a divine beast and launched a ferocious assault upon the capital, shattering a portion of the wall. Thus, by order of the imperial preceptor, we have begun expanding the city and reinforcing its defenses, raising the walls higher than before. Cult Master, please examine these runes devised by Formation Hall. Are they sound?" Qin Mu accepted the formation diagrams and studied them with care. The lines twisted with intricate precision, elegant as calligraphy and profound as hidden Tao. A faint smile appeared on his lips. "Not bad at all. Formation Hall's mastery has already surpassed mine. I shall need time to study if I wish to catch up." "Cult Master flatters us," the disciple replied with a grin. "Recently, the Spear God has traveled throughout the empire, imparting knowledge of formations. Saint Woodcutter has also denied many ancient formation arts from the founding emperor era and passed them to him. The Spear God then taught us, and we have gained greatly." The Spear God he spoke of was none other than Blind. While Qin Mu wandered the world, Blind, Deaf, and the others had traveled across the empire, teaching what they had learned in academies and sects, with Saint Woodcutter, Heavenly Teacher Fisherman, DUA, and others also spreading their knowledge. Eternal peace had flourished at an astonishing pace, as though blessed by heaven itself. Under normal tides of fate, eternal peace would have risen to unmatched prosperity. Yet the breaking of the seal upon the primordial realm shattered that destiny, scattering the empire into fragments. Now, its grasp over its former lands had grown tenuous. Before long, Qin Mu arrived at the manor of the imperial preceptor. The Eternal Peace imperial preceptor had only just returned from the palace, his body weary and spirit drained, and was resting. His wife came to summon him and said softly to Qin Mu, "My husband has been traveling everywhere to quell rebellions. No sooner had he returned than the emperor summoned him to the palace for many days. He is utterly exhausted." Qin Mu cupped his hands apologetically. "I have disturbed junior brother's rest. I am ashamed." The imperial preceptor rose and said, "Second senior brother is too courteous. The empire stands at the edge of peril. This is my duty. Even his majesty has grown gaunt, reduced to skin and bone. If the ruler suffers thus, how can I not? You would not come without reason. Speak. What urgent matter brings you here?" Qin Mu hesitated, then spoke plainly. "I have come to consult you on how to have a child." The imperial preceptor's wife, who had expected grave matters of state, flushed crimson at these words. She hurriedly rose to leave, then turned back and took Gongsun Yan with her. Smiling, she said, "Let the men speak. We sisters shall have our own conversation." Once they had departed, the imperial preceptor's expression darkened, and he rebuked sharply, "The empire teeters on the brink, and yet you think of such matters. Qin Mu, I once respected you as my senior brother. How can you be so absurd? Qin Mu quickly explained. I have already had the martial arts heavenly teacher shatter my divine bridge, divine treasure. My aim is to reopen it, to discover a path that will resolve, once and for all, the broken divine bridge affliction of the people of eternal peace. The reason I consider having a child is to test whether the seventh divine treasure I cultivate can be inherited by future generations. If it can, the problem may be solved entirely. I have wronged you. The imperial preceptor immediately rose and bowed deeply to the ground. I mistook second senior brother for a man of indulgence, yet you bear the burden of the world with righteousness carved into your very bones. You dared to destroy your own divine bridge, divine treasure. Such courage I do not possess. I am convinced beyond doubt that you are worthy to be my senior brother. On behalf of all under heaven, I thank you. Qin Mu hastily helped him up, smiling wryly. You give me too much credit, junior brother. So how does one have a child? The imperial preceptor's solemn demeanor shattered, his face reddened, and he coughed repeatedly, clearly at a loss. Qin Mu narrowed his eyes. You know, yet you refuse to tell me? Hoarding knowledge for yourself? It is not that, the imperial preceptor said hastily. It is simply difficult to speak aloud. Even children in primary schools know this. There are lessons on it. Go attend one. Qin Mu shook his head. I have never attended primary school. After leaving the Great Ruins, I went straight to the Imperial College. The imperial preceptor frowned, glanced about, then lowered his voice. Wait here. I shall fetch something. You will understand once you see it. With that, he hurried away. After a short while, he returned in a fluster, pulling a book from his sleeve and thrusting it into Qin Mu's hands. I once knew nothing of such matters myself. When the emperor arranged my marriage, I was utterly lost. He gave me this book. After reading it, I understood. Take it. It will answer your questions. Qin Mu looked at the cover. Written upon it were the words, Romantic Diary of the Capital City. As he opened it, he found not text, but images. Images of men and women. The figures within even moved, their lifelike motions revealing a painter of extraordinary skill. The artistry had clearly reached the first realm of the painting Tao described by scholars. Truly exceptional. After a glance, Qin Mu's face flushed bright red. He snapped the book shut in panic. How can this be? How disgraceful. I no longer wish to have a child. The imperial preceptor said, I too found it shameful at first. Filthy even, an insult to sages. But after trying, it was not bad. Quite interesting, in fact. Qin Mu clutched his chest as if struck and said disdainfully, Junior brother, you have fallen. This is the natural order between man and woman. How is that falling? The imperial preceptor retorted, If you do not want it, return it. Qin Mu moved to hand it back, but suddenly pulled it away. Let me examine it further. I must judge such matters carefully. This painting style feels familiar. Who authored this work? The more he looked, the deeper his suspicion grew. He flipped to the front and back pages, yet found no signature. These brushstrokes? This mastery. His anger surged as realization struck. Gee, Grandpa Deaf, have you fallen to such depths? The imperial preceptor coughed awkwardly. It is indeed the work of the heavenly art saint. That is why I concealed it. The emperor has asked for it many times, but I claimed it was lost. This is the only copy. He drew it in poverty. Now that he is wealthy, he would never make another. Return it to me when you are done. Qin Mu, face burning, flipped through a few more pages before hastily returning the book. The imperial preceptor carefully smoothed each page before storing it away. Then he asked, Which girl do you intend to have a child with? Qin Mu froze, his mind blank. After a long moment, he said slowly, I have not considered that. For months, my thoughts have been devoted to the seventh divine treasure. I have devised 26 variations and corresponding methods, and I intend to test them all. Originally, I planned to have a child for each successful method. Now that I see it is not so simple, I must find 26 women. Get out! The imperial preceptor's face darkened, and he pointed to the door. Qin Mu muttered, I am your senior brother. How can you speak thus? Ah, Fu, come here and throw this scoundrel out. The imperial preceptor roared. Such licentiousness. How can you be worthy of being my second senior brother? Qin Mu quickly said, Let us set aside the matter of children. I have too many affairs to handle. No time for such trouble. There is another matter. Observe the halo behind my head. This is Mother Earth's blessing. She wishes for me to revive her and has bestowed this upon me, along with an Earth Aeon Tao fruit. Without it, I would not have reached the life and death realm so swiftly. Yet this blessing also binds me. She will find me again. Help me determine how to remove it. The Imperial Preceptor's expression turned grave. He examined the halo repeatedly, pacing back and forth, muttering under his breath. Suddenly, sword light erupted. With a single motion, he thrust toward Qin Mu. Qin Mu did not move. The sound of countless collisions rang out as the Imperial Preceptor unleashed a storm of sword strikes, each precise, each exquisite. Every blade of light struck directly upon the runes of the halo. In the next instant, sword chi filled the courtyard, weaving like dragons through the air. Yet the halo behind Qin Mu's head burst forth with radiant colors, spinning to block every strike. The Imperial Preceptor withdrew his sword. The halo stilled. This blessing is exceedingly powerful, a form of protection. If you can wield its strength, even a true god would struggle to harm you. Perhaps even heavenly gods would fail. He inspected his sword and found cracks at its tip. Such a blessing is invaluable. Are you certain you wish to erase it? Qin Mu nodded. A blessing may also be a curse. Mother Earth is grievously wounded now, but she will rise again. If she captures me, I will be forced to revive her. Once restored, destroying eternal peace, crimson light, and founding emperor would be effortless. The Imperial Preceptor fell silent. After a long while, he said, "Then we must gather Teacher Woodcutter and the wisest minds of eternal peace. Granny C must also come. Her mastery of magnetic runes is essential. They are scattered abroad, so it will take time." Qin Mu's spirit stirred. Is the martial arts heavenly teacher in the capital? He had gone to the South Sea to meet the Crimson Light Son of God, suppressing his rebellion. Recently, he traveled to the prairie to visit Mahakala. He should return soon. The Imperial Preceptor sighed. The East Sea stirs, the heavens above show anomalies, and the North Sea, ice plains, and ancient ruins all awaken. We have lost contact with the great ruins and West Earth. The teleportation gates can only protect a handful of cities. There is too much to manage. I wish I could split into 1,000,000,000 selves. Qin Mu said, "Why not transform the capital into a floating divine city? It would inspire the people and deter enemies." "I have discussed this with His Majesty," the Imperial Preceptor replied. "But the treasury is empty. Trade is cut off. We lack the divine metals and materials required." Qin Mu smiled. The ruins across the empire contain countless ancient weapons. Perhaps they can be smelted for this purpose. The Imperial Preceptor smiled faintly. "Leave such matters aside. Your priority is the 7th divine treasure. You have no residence here, correct? Stay at my manor." Qin Mu shook his head. "I own several houses here. Linger manages my finances. She predicted rising prices and bought them. Besides, staying here would burden you. You lack even sufficient food and clothing." The Imperial Preceptor stared, speechless. Qin Mu took his leave, calling over Celestial Venerable Yu, who had been secretly devouring the water-chillin' spirit pills, and then summoned Gongsun Yan. She ran over and whispered, "Did you learn how to conceive a child?" Qin Mu nodded, his face slightly red. Gongsun Yan lowered her voice further. "I know as well. You could have asked me. When my flowers bloom, you need only transfer your pollen, and a child will be born." Qin Mu was stunned. She flicked water from her horsetail whisk onto his head. "You must water yourself so you grow faster. When my flowers bloom, yours will too. Then you can use your male flower to pollinate mine." Qin Mu stood frozen, only regaining his senses after a moment. "Fatty Dragon, are you still not leaving? Lan Yuqian? Still eating? When Saintly King entrusted you to me, you were thin and light. Now look at you. He will surely blame me. He gave me a celestial venerable you, and I return a fatty Lan." The capital loomed before their eyes like a slumbering titan, its vast silhouette pressing against the heavens. Around its perimeter, countless practitioners of divine arts moved like disciplined ants, their robes fluttering as they labored to reshape the city's defenses. The walls were being raised ever higher, each stone set with precision, each layer infused with intent. Buckets of beast's blood were carried forth, and with solemn gestures, the practitioners inscribed defensive runes across the surface. Each stroke brimming with spiritual force, each mark a silent vow against calamity. Qin Mu descended to the base of the city walls, and sought out those overseeing the reconstruction. The one in charge was a disciple of the Heavenly Works Hall, his bearing steady and his gaze resolute. Upon inquiry, he clasped his hands and spoke. Not long past, a half-god assumed the form of a divine beast and assailed the capital, tearing open a section of the wall with terrifying might. In response, the imperial preceptor commanded us to expand the city and fortify its defenses, raising the walls to greater heights. Cult Master, might I trouble you to examine these runic formations designed by the Formation Hall? Are they sound? Qin Mu accepted the scrolls, his eyes narrowing as he studied each intricate pattern. The formations were complex yet harmonious, their structure imbued with an elegant rhythm. After a long moment, he smiled faintly. Exquisite. The Formation Hall has surpassed my attainments in this art. It seems I must devote time to study if I am to catch up. You honor us too greatly, the disciple replied with a humble smile. Recently, the spear god has traveled across the empire, imparting the art of formations. Saint Woodcutter also compiled numerous techniques from the founding emperor era and entrusted them to him. The spear god then passed these teachings to us, and we have benefited immensely. The spear god he spoke of was none other than Blind. While Qin Mu wandered the vast lands, Blind, Deaf, and the others had journeyed through the empire, teaching in academies and halls alike. With the guidance of Saint Woodcutter, Heavenly Teacher Fisherman, DUA, and others, knowledge flowed like a mighty river, propelling eternal peace to unprecedented heights. Under ordinary tides of fate, eternal peace would have flourished without restraint. Yet the breaking of the seal upon the primordial realm shattered that destiny, scattering the empire into fragments. Now the once mighty dominion held only tenuous control over its former territories. Before long, Qin Mu and his companions arrived at the manor of the imperial preceptor. The preceptor had only just returned from the palace and was resting, his spirit clearly worn. His wife came forth to receive them and said gently to Qin Mu, "My husband has been quelling rebellions across the land. No sooner had he returned than the emperor summoned him to court for many days. He is utterly exhausted." Qin Mu bowed apologetically. "I regret disturbing my junior brother's rest." Eternal Peace, imperial preceptor soon emerged, his face pale with fatigue. "Second senior brother is too courteous. The empire stands in peril. This is my duty. Even the emperor himself has grown gaunt, reduced to skin and bone. If the ruler suffers thus, how could I fare better? You do not come without reason. This visit must be urgent." Qin Mu hesitated briefly before speaking his purpose. "I have come to consult you on how to have a child." The preceptor's wife, who had expected grave matters of state, flushed deeply upon hearing this. She rose hastily to leave, then turned back to pull Gongsun Yan along. With a soft laugh, she said, "Let the men speak. We sisters shall have our own conversation." Only after they departed did the imperial preceptor's expression darken. "The empire teeters on the brink, and you still concern yourself with such matters? Qin Mu, I respected you as my senior brother. How can you be so absurd?" Qin Mu hurriedly explained, "I have already asked the martial arts heavenly teacher to destroy my divine bridge, divine treasure. My aim is to reopen it, to find a path that can resolve the broken divine bridges of eternal peace once and for all. I wish to see whether the seventh divine treasure I create can be passed down through bloodlines. If it can, then future generations will no longer suffer this affliction." The imperial preceptor froze. Then, with a solemn expression, he rose and bowed deeply to the ground. "I have wronged you. I thought you frivolous, yet you carry the burden of the world upon your shoulders. To destroy your own divine bridge requires courage I do not possess. I am truly convinced you are worthy to be my senior brother. On behalf of all under heaven, I thank you." Qin Mu quickly pulled him up with a wry smile. "I do not deserve such praise. Junior brother, how does one have a child?" The imperial preceptor's solemnity crumbled instantly. Replaced by an awkward flush, he coughed repeatedly, clearly troubled. Qin Mu narrowed his eyes. "You know, yet you refuse to tell me? Are you hoarding this knowledge?" "It is not that," the preceptor stammered. "It is simply difficult to speak aloud. Even primary scholars learn this in school. There are classes. Just attend one and listen." Qin Mu shook his head. "I have never attended such schooling. After leaving the great ruins, I went straight to the Imperial College." The preceptor frowned, glancing about before lowering his voice. Wait here. I shall fetch something. You will understand upon seeing it. With that, he departed in haste. Moments later, he returned in a fluster, drawing a book from his sleeve and thrusting it into Qin Mu's hands. I was once ignorant of such matters as well. After the emperor arranged my marriage, I was utterly lost. He gave me this book. After reading it, all became clear. Take it. It will resolve your doubts. Qin Mu examined the cover. Upon it were inscribed the words, Romantic Diary of the Capital City. As he opened it, he found not text but vivid illustrations, depictions of men and women. The images even moved, demonstrating unparalleled mastery of the painting path. The artist had not only captured life, but had also reached the first realm of painting as described by scholar, a truly extraordinary achievement. Qin Mu's face flushed crimson. He snapped the book shut. How can this be? Such shamelessness! I no longer wish to have a child. The imperial preceptor replied, I too found it shameful at first, filthy even. Yet, after trying, it is not unpleasant. In fact, it is rather interesting. Qin Mu clutched his chest in mock pain. Junior brother, you have fallen. This is the natural order of humanity, the preceptor retorted. How is that falling? If you do not want it, return it. Qin Mu made to hand it back, then suddenly withdrew his hand. Allow me to examine it further. I must properly judge such matters. This painting style, it seems familiar. Who authored this work? His suspicion deepened as he flipped through the pages, searching for a signature, yet finding none. These brushstrokes, this mastery, his face twisted in disbelief. Grandpa Deaf, have you fallen so far? The imperial preceptor coughed awkwardly. It is indeed the work of the heavenly art saint. Otherwise, I would not have concealed it. The emperor has asked for it many times, but I claimed it was lost. This is the only copy. He created it during times of poverty. Now that he prospers, he would never produce another. Return it when you are done. Qin Mu hastily flipped through a few more pages, heart pounding, before thrusting the book back. The preceptor carefully smoothed each page before storing it away. I nearly forgot. Who do you intend to have a child with? Qin Mu froze, his mind blank. After a long pause, he said slowly, I have not considered that. These past months, I have focused entirely on the seventh divine treasure. I have devised 26 variations and intend to test them all. Originally, I thought to have a child for each successful method. Now, it seems I must find 26 women. Get out! The preceptor's face darkened as he pointed toward the door. I am your senior brother. Qin Mu protested. How can you speak thus? Ah, Fu! Come at once and throw this scoundrel out, the preceptor roared. Such licentiousness! How can you claim to be my senior brother? Qin Mu raised his hands defensively. Let us set aside this matter. I have no time for children. It is troublesome. There is another matter. Observe the halo behind my head. This is Mother Earth's blessing. She seeks revival and has marked me with it, even granting me an Earth Aeon Dao fruit. Without it, I could not have reached the life and death realms so swiftly. Yet this blessing binds me. She will come for me eventually. Help me find a way to remove it. The preceptor's expression grew grave. He studied the halo intently, pacing and muttering. Suddenly, sword light erupted as he struck. Qin Mu stood unmoving as countless sword strikes rang out in rapid succession. Each strike was precise, each aimed directly at the runes within the halo. The courtyard trembled under the storm of blades, their movements as fluid as dragons in flight, yet the halo burst into radiant colors, spinning ceaselessly to repel every strike. At last, the preceptor withdrew his sword. The halo settled. This blessing is immensely powerful, a form of protection. If you can harness it, even true gods would struggle to harm you. Perhaps not even heavenly gods could overcome it. He inspected his blade, noting cracks along its edge. Such a blessing is invaluable. Are you certain you wish to remove it? Qin Mu nodded. A blessing may also be a curse. Mother Earth is wounded now, but she will recover. If she captures me, I will be forced to revive her. Once restored, destroying eternal peace, crimson light, and the founding emperor would be trivial. The preceptor fell silent. After a long while, he said, Then we must gather Teacher Woodcutter, Granny C, and the wisest minds of the empire. This cannot be solved alone. Qin Mu's eyes lit up. Is the martial arts heavenly teacher in the capital? He should return soon, the preceptor replied. He has been traveling, first the South Sea, then the prairie, Meanwhile, disturbances arise everywhere. The East Sea depths, the heavens above, the northern ice plains, ancient ruins. We have lost contact with the great ruins in West Earth. The teleportation gates protect only a handful of cities. There is too much to manage. I wish I could split into a billion selves. Qin Mu pondered, then said, "Why not transform the capital into a divine city that floats in the sky? It would inspire the people and intimidate enemies." "We have considered it," the preceptor sighed. "But the treasury is empty. Trade is cut off. We lack the materials." Qin Mu smiled. "The newly emerged ruins may hold weapons that can be melted down. They could serve as materials." The preceptor chuckled. "Leave such matters to us. Your priority is the seventh divine treasure. Stay here. We shall assist you when the others arrive." Qin Mu shook his head. "I have houses here. Linger invested wisely. She foresaw rising prices. Besides, you can barely afford your own meals." The preceptor stared in disbelief. Qin Mu took his leave. Gathering Celestial Venerable Yu and Gongsun Yan approached quietly. "Did you learn how to conceive a child?" Qin Mu nodded, cheeks faintly red. She whispered, "I already know. When my flowers bloom, you may transfer your pollen to me." Qin Mu froze. She dipped her horsetail whisk into water and flicked droplets onto him. "You must water yourself well to grow. When both our flowers bloom, your male flower may pollinate my female flower." Qin Mu stood dumbfounded before snapping back to his senses. "Fatty Dragon, why are you still here? Lan Yuqian, stop eating. When Saintly King entrusted you to me, you were thin. Now look at you. He will surely blame me. I was given a Celestial Venerable Yu, and I am returning a fatty Lan."